Minnesota Vikings have set up Kirk Cousins to have success in 2023, but they haven't found his successor. As Kirk enters a contract year, will he be back with the Vikings? Who really knows? And General Manager Kwesi adofo-mensah needs to be looking forward to find the guy, and him and Kevin O'Connell need to have their own guy under center going forward. So Kwesi got to be doing some work, man. And 2024 NFL draft is the place to do it, as everyone and their mom says that it is going to be the best quarterback class ever. Allegedly. One of the names that's going to be matriculating his name up the draft board is Bo Nix, the pride of Oregon, formerly of Auburn, etc. And the Vikings may be in the perfect position to acquire Bo Nix in next spring's draft. And Pro Football Focus did up a piece entitled 2024 NFL Draft, one draft prospect each NFC team should be watching, and the Minnesota Vikings checked in with Bo Nix. This is what Pro Football Focus wrote. Minnesota's 2022 season was defined by playing poor defense and then overcoming it in close games with great offense. No big deal. While the defense certainly needs more resources allocated in its direction, the Vikings can't ignore the fact that Kirk Cousins will be 35 this season and is entering a contract year. The Vikings most likely won't be bad enough to enter the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever said to us. So someone like Oregon's Bo Nix could be an option later in the first round. Nix is a solid rhythm passer who gets rid of the ball quickly and does some of his best work on the move. He offers more mobility than Cousins to run Kevin O'Connell's outside zone boot system. Nix is considered a Heisman dark horse and could vault himself into the first round with another big year at Oregon. So let's talk about Bo Nix today. Background, 6'2", 213, 23 years young. Yes, he is going to be 24 by next year's draft, but you're going to have that with a lot of quarterbacks who played through the COVID era and are taking advantage of that extra eligibility. But a former 5-star recruit from Pinson, Alabama, committed to Auburn. Yes, just like his dad, Patrick, from back in the day. And yes, being an Auburn, his father was an Auburn alum, so of course Bo is his given name, and he's named after Bo Jackson. I don't think he's named after Bo Bridges, but whatever. And he was a starter right away in the SEC for the Tigers in his 2019 SEC Freshman of the Year. But next 2 years, it was kind of back and forth and sort of fell out of favor on the Plains. Eventually, he was benched in 2021. Took his talents to Oregon in 2022. Reunited with Kenny Dillingham, who was the Oregon OC, formerly at Alabama, which brought him to the Tigers. And he tore it up. He tore it up in 2022, man. Completed 72% of his passes. We'll get into that in a second. 3,594 yards passing, 29 touchdowns. Also ran in 14 scores for the Ducks. Now, he's not necessarily a running quarterback, but he does have plus movement skills, and that's something that could be an asset at the next level. And also his, a couple superlatives. Kid is a gamer. Like, if you watch him play, even back at Auburn, like, he's got moxie to him, and you could say, like, moxie and $5 will get you a cup of coffee nowadays. I mean, Gardner Minshew had moxie at Washington State. Johnny Manziel had moxie at Texas A&M. But there's just something about it where, is he going to blow you away getting off the bus? No. Is he going to blow you away with like Anthony Richardson style arm talent? Not particularly, but a guy who kind of like, he reminds me of Trace McSorley at Penn State, where McSorley was undersized, didn't have the strongest arm in the world, but he always seemed to get it done, sort of deal. But Bo Nix does have that quick release. He does have solid arm ability. Like, he can throw the deep ball, he can throw the deep fade, he can throw a back shoulder, no problem at the next level. And he's really good at improvising, where it almost seems like he prefers when things get off schedule and he can improvise and make plays, sort of like drawing plays up in the dirt. Now, you could say that, is he Brett Favre adjacent? Is he Tony Romo adjacent? Is he a little Johnny Manziel? Sure. Maybe not on that level, but he does need to work better from structure. Like, he does need to operate better from the pocket as opposed to just completely breaking things down and then trying to make a play on his own. Does need to work on mechanics, but he does have that quick release. He does have good hips. He does have solid fluidity, but I think that just a complete breaking down and rebuilding of the footwork to match up with the NFL offense would do him a lot of good. And he is a solid athlete, but the stigma of a college offense will come into play here. So it's not quite Tennessee Josh Heupel offense with Hendon Hooker in terms of simplicity, but a lot of bubble screens, a lot of single, quarter, half field reads, as well as one read and go. And if it's not open, just take off and run sort of situation. So he is going to have to learn to progress in an NFL scheme. But I mean, a lot of the college quarterbacks, to be honest, are starting to come from this more simpler type offense, but it's effective. And now it's effective at the college level, but you do have to grow and show in the National Football League. And also, Kenny Dillingham, the OC at Oregon last year, who had some great success, took over at Arizona State as a head coach. Now, is Bo going to know how to operate a new offense? TBD there. But also, looking at this draft class, because the Vikings are going to have success this year. They're going to be drafting at 32. But I mean, Caleb Williams, Drake May are perceived to be up at the top. I mean, there may be a quarterback who rises up that we don't even know about right now, right? And look at the top 10. Williams, Drake May, Penix, formerly of Indiana, out doing great things up at Washington now. Quinn Ewers, hook 'em baby. Bo Nix at Oregon. Joe Milton III trying to take over Hendon Hooker. Joe Milton may have the strongest arm in the last decade, and that's not hyperbole. Dude has a cannon. Shedeur Sanders, with his pops up in Boulder. KJ Jefferson at Arkansas. Spencer Rattler trying to get back off the mat. The former highly recruited Oklahoma Sooner took his talents, with Beamer over to South Carolina. JJ McCarthy of Michigan. We'll see. Also, that's not even listing like Tyler Van Dyke of Miami, who I'm a big fan of. Jordan Travis from Florida State, who I like a lot too. So, I mean, the Vikings will have options in this class, and they may not have to be up in the stratosphere. And is Nix going to be a first-round pick? I mean, maybe. But I think a lot of the similar things with Hendon Hooker, aside from the ACL, knock on all the wood, hopefully Nix stays healthy, but a little bit older. Nix is going to be 24 in the draft. Simplified offense, etc. I mean, a lot of those things are going to be held against Bo Nix, so maybe he does end up being a day 2 selection versus a first-round pick, even if he does have a monster Heisman-adjacent type season. But it's interesting to think, because there's a long way to go to the 2024 NFL draft, and who knows what's going to shake out. Maybe the Vikings, maybe Kirk finds a fountain of youth and they want to extend him for 3-4 years, and quarterback isn't really an issue right now. Or maybe Jaron Hall steps up and he's a quarterback too, and the quarterback of the future. Who knows? But it's fun, man. It's fun. Always looking forward to the draft no matter what time of year. And Bo Nix, he's a name to watch, and he's a fun player to watch. Check him out on Saturdays in the fall. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings need to draft Oregon former Auburn quarterback Bo Nix. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.